Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting. I think it's exciting. Don't you think this is exciting? There's lots of nods. Like, library research is exciting, everyone. No, they're not buying it. All right. Well, what if I told you that we learned a little bit more about research since the last time? We learned about how the libraries are and sources of knowledge, whether they're the old oak tree that the Fae guard, or some old guy who constantly has a problem of people putting their door stuck in their doorway and he just can't close it and shut them out. A knowledgeable person, a scribe, or library have a challenge rating, which would imply there might be a little bit of XP and that type of thing at the end of this book binge. With reams, not realms, Eric, reams of books piled around our cleric. We go now back to the Dawnflower Library, where one Kenro, a cleric of Callistra, can possibly do research. Now, as an audience, you kind of been tipped off what they fought. They fought some kind of undead. It was shadowy. Ken, his angle is not just finding out about that, but he was really fascinated by a shadow in a pantsuit. So correct me if I'm wrong, Troy, but your angle was to try to research both the creature and whom this could possibly be, starting in the K section for Karen.
Yep.
In Forbidden Lore.
Yes, for shadow, because
okay. As for you, imagine if like every D&D library or Pathfinder library was like, no matter what the subject, it wasn't grouped by topic, it was just grouped alphabetically.
Gosh.
Like every topic in the world that begins with S, that would be...
decibel nightmare.
That'd be awesome. I think that'd be kind of neat. All right. So, I believe you had spammed me some religion checks.
I did.
In the tower.
Yep.
Which I had written down and lost. But since XP is on the line and you want to know success or crit success and get success is 1 point, crit success is 2. Oh, I almost forgot. Failure in this, Eric. Failure in this actually, like, you lose points, don't you?
Only on the crit failure. Just a failure means you don't gain anything, you don't advance, you don't lose. On a crit failure, you lose 1 point.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering if that's something I should actually, maybe this is why I should tower this and he just doesn't know. No, I think it'd be more fun that these rolls are open. So, for every... I'm not going to say hour, but I'm not going to say day. I'm going to say, roll me a d4. Kenro.
1d4?
Yeah.
A 4.
Okay, so for every 4 hours you spend researching, okay, depending on the DC, I'll let you double down on maybe something specifically to Karen that, because of a really high roll, but focused on undead lore, shadows, incorporeal undead, that kind of thing. Okay? Now, every 4 hours you take a break, and you were testing the old leg and the joints for a little healing, that kind of thing. Take a walk around, do 10 minutes of medicine, stitch yourself up, type of thing. So the hit points, everything we kind of uncured, right? Yeah. I think we're still good with that. So, openly, if you're going to spend the afternoon, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, midnight, okay, got back in the morning. Yeah. Give me 3 religion.
3 religion. Openly or in the tower?
Openly.
1.
Will all success and fail with you.
16.
Okay.
That is a 26.
Okay.
And this is a 25.
All right. So, as a base, using something like a recall knowledge, okay, a certain creature with a challenge rating of 4, you should be able to do a 14 recall knowledge to know something. To research something specifically and learn a lot more than just, oh, like, you don't want to know that this creature just had an AC and just, like, you'd be here all day. You know what I mean? So the DC would be higher than 14. So, and looking at the type of the DCs I got here, okay, I'm going to say that with your 16, you are certain that this creature is widely referred to by scholars as an undead shadow. A terrible, terrible undead that can drain negative energy and seeks out anything alive and can absorb its energy, killing them. And if somebody dies, rumor has it that a shadow spawn and that poor creature's soul or existence is mutated into an undead shadow spirit under this thing's control. Kind of like vampirism with a master vampire. But there's conflicting accounts. So some say direct control, some say near death, some say completely dead. So what I'm going to tell you is a glossary of 70% of the book said almost dead, 20% said dead. So you're going to go with the 70 and go, okay, almost dead. You know, physical contact, even though this is an ethereal creature and kind of passes its limbs through the space, it still can make contact with your psyche, your soul, or whatever. It's terrifying, horrifying, total PSD for my Jargon Whitmore and Corey's character type of experience. With a 26, you are lucky enough to find an actual witness account. A bard or a wizard wrote down a personal journal that the church found interesting because they talked in depth about running into a shadow. Okay. And it's a harrowing read because the guy is terrified but is writing this down for prosperity. Okay. The author and the cleric are the only of 7 that made it out. And they ran into one single shadowy creature that was upon them nowhere, seeming to stick to the walls and not have a presence in the physical realm. And when it finally did sort of 3D and peel itself 2D off of a wall, it stepped behind a fighter, reached 2 hands in, and just kind of wiggly, you know, ooh, look at this, like almost playing with the man type of thing with vengeance, sticking its head right through its chest. Anyway, by the time it was done with the warrior, not only did the warrior collapse, pale and stone dead, but a vaguely Mannix warrior-shaped shadow stood between us and the original shadow, and this thing just sort of lifted an appendage, pointed at the rogue, and sent this new shadow after it. And as it decimated our party, the challenge got harder because more and more of these shadows arose to a point where a powerful spell was cast of light, which gave them pause, but not able to defeat. If we had known the possibility, and this is getting into your 25 later on of like how to fight them kind of thing, if we had a theory later that if we had actually cast light spells or had glowing weapons that actually shed light, not a torch, not a light spell in the air, but an actual weapon that gave off light and pierced the creature, it might have been an effective weapon. But they'll never know for sure because they fled. If Buddy hadn't cast a light spell that gave like a daylight, like a heavy, not a light spell, but like a daybreak, like something serious, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the cleric brought the sun into the tunnel and we frickin' fled. And I gave up adventure and I became an author. And now I'm sage and I'm, you know, I live in the middle of a city and, you know, and there are lights on and candles everywhere in my home and blah, blah, blah. And you know what I mean? Like one of those guys that fortify himself in. Anyway, 4, 8, 12 hours, you spend an entire day, you finally come across this accounting, which not only verifies all the pretty accurate against each other findings about undead, but someone's very specific account. However, even with a 26, you don't find any account relating to the local area, local legend, or undead rumored to haunt the Gauntlet ruins itself. Now, there's been a lot of things about strange noises, and people saw glowing figures and all kinds of swamp lights and, you know, all that kind of thing, right? Now, do you remember the floating skulls that we found in the cathedral?
I don't think I was here for that.
No? You don't think that? Oh, that's right. Actually, sorry, original party. Yeah, sorry. But there's lore about like ghostly lights, and this thing did not shed light. It seemed to be containing a tiny bit of bright energy smothered in darkness, cracking the seams. But anyway, and that's what I have for you. Earning, a solid. Okay.
Good information.
Yep.
Excellent.
Now you have Rose Guard lore.
I have astrology.
You have astrology. Okay. Want to give it a go?
Sure.
Okay. I'll even say that like you were cross-referencing. Okay.
That's a 9 now.
That's fine.
Maybe I'll use. Yeah, that's good.
I was gonna say like it just seemed to waste your time. There wasn't anything that you could find, 9 or otherwise, that was directly related stars and undead. It's kind of a divert type of thing. Anyway, and that's day 1 well into, part of day 2. Oh, then you must rest. No, whether you actually slept, have your spells, and that last roll is like 4 hours in the morning, and the guys will find you sitting over coffee. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds.
Okay. Moving back to Gregor.
Yes, sir.
So, sitting there having tea and cakes with old Morlaband, right?
Yep.
You were interested in anything he could tell you, and you were bribing him with sort of like, I'm going to be brave enough. Like rich people, rich castles, everyone knows about the noble family that built this place or lived there, whatever. There's got to be art. There's evidence of it. There's lower levels. What if you brought it out and smuggled it right to his door and have him first pick of what was to be buy or kept or even in trade for the knowledge kind of thing? And this is what got you in the door and got you fed.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, like I said, he seemed a little bit sus, and he doesn't seem to want to give up much of his interest, but you're in the chair. So now it's time for you to sort of like talk turkey with him, right? He seems open finally to the idea of like, getting to know what's going on. So what question, what would you want to know from him?
So I try to spend most of my time buttering him up, right? Just trying to compliment, just focusing on the relationship more than anything else. And then drop a question and see how he reacts to it, and then gauge as to what I do next, right? So the first thing I'd ask about is, is there any reference to the lower levels? What the lower levels were used for and how many lower levels there were?
Okay.
If oh no, yeah, it was pre-built. Never mind, answer my own question here. But
what are you looking at? Get out of those books. What are you looking at? You're supposed to be asking me. He's got his head down. Are you looking at you got the module cracked open? What are you doing?
No, because I was going to ask if there was any materials that would already built before it appeared, right? So they wouldn't have any record of that, I guess.
Exactly, because... Sorry, again, for the other audience.
My question was to find out if there's any references to the lower levels, how many lower levels there were.
Okay.
Simply because we've seen that we've been on the lower levels. We know that there's a stairway, so tells us that there has to be, between the time that the Rose Guard defeated Balcora and now, there had to have been someone that explored it, or just seeing if there's any record of it or mention of it anywhere.
Okay.
Then I would also kind of fish around to see what what their family was known for, like what their claim to fame was, and why she would come out this way, what attracted her to come out this way, what her vocation was. Any detail about Balcor that I can squeeze out of him.
Okay.
And then lastly, I'd start talking or asking questions around those gray-skinned creatures that we saw.
All right. Now, treating a knowledgeable sage is much like treating a library, except that he has like a personal collection and going, well, let's have a look. Let's, not like he has every book he's ever got on hand memorized, so it's almost like having a personal assistant. Now, a sage will have very focused knowledge, and you have your own personal library assistant, but probably a library would have more on any given subject, and I think this is the trade-off. He would have focused knowledge, right?
Yep.
So, starting with I guess my question would be, does he help you research, or do you just go, do it? And what skills does he have? And he throws his dice around, right? It's something
to be honest, that was kind of my motivation. I was hoping that I could butter him up enough where he'd go, okay, well, you go look for this and I'll check this out, or, you know.
Okay. Do the research for you. And oh, yeah. There's this thing called money that a sage will take, okay? Now, your promise of good stuff got you in the door. But if you actually want to unleash him upon his own collection, that's straight up sage work, and that's going to cost you cash. So what have you got in the way of silver and cash? Because the heroic party that literally stood against the zombies has gone missing. That place is very dangerous. A guy he's never met walks in going, I rescued one of them, and I'm going back to that hellhole, and maybe there's some art I can pull off the wall. Okay, I'm interested, but there's no guarantee you're going to come back with that cool art. So, cash is, again, in a sage situation, you know.
I have 23 silver pieces left.
Okay, well, threats were good, too. I mean, you know, can always start breaking things.
No defeats. Yeah, no.
Do you like having all your limbs intact? What?
Yeah.
Great in the short term, horrible in the long term.
Yeah, that's the contingency.
Okay. Oh, really? I was just kidding. All right.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
All right. Well, how about this? He takes a undisclosed deposit. Okay. And you can set him to work on a single subject. Gray-skinned humanoids, the existence of lower levels, anything in Roseguard lore that may mention either of those are all three technically different angles. Pick one, give up your money, and we can look up sage fees later. I'm not going to stall the game, but I'm just saying, like, you know, consider yourself broken owing, or hey, you still have something, you know, type of thing. And then, but if these fees are astronomical, can't say I know where you live either. No, you're fine. Right.
I'll give him an IOU.
Give him an IOU. Yeah, okay. Well, do you have a magic item that you could use as collateral?
No, not at this point.
And I don't mean weapon. That would be ridiculous. Like, oh, here's my magic sword. I'm going to go off and die now. Like, I meant something that, you know, something of value, a gem or a magical item or something that's like, here, he's not going to own it, but he's going to hold it as collateral, you know, so that you come back and, you know what I mean? Otherwise, they'll just try. Okay, he'll just take the retainer up front.
It would be in the form of spell components. That's the only thing I would have. Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if they work off retainer. Like, you get a sage to look something up. What happens to the sage that goes, sorry, I worked for 6 hours, I found nothing. Please pay me my fee. No matter how many adventures go, oh, no result. You know, so that maybe he works on some kind of retaining system where it's like this much up front, you know, and then half back, or, you know, the I couldn't tell you crap clause is still, there'll be still a small amount paid, but maybe not the full amount discussed. So we'll look into that in the world of pathfinding. But for right now, you set him on the loose on his own collection. He's definitely interested in talking in the future of, like, you know, like maybe this is a payment method where you get him going, and every time you bring him something, he gives you more information. I know it's kind of after the fact, but you know what I'm saying? You bring him a 150 gold piece painting, and he's like, oh, I've been reading all week on the, oh, you're back, you know, blah, blah, you know, type of thing. I mean, you might even want to put in a friends clause going, so these are my friends, and if I die, you know, and they show up with money, and I'll tell them about you, then tell them, you know what I mean? Like, whoever brings the artwork, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Or maybe not tell him, but tell your friends going, okay, guys, I got this angle. If I die, take artwork to Moral Bins, and he might tell you something that would keep you from dying, you know?
I would set him on the lower levels and any information he has on the use that they would
now,
have.
Since I'm taking your money, I will start you off to something that he does know. Now, he's not certain. He will research to prove himself wrong, and if you get him really excited, you might find him at the library. You know, fighting Ken over a book. Give me. I'm a town citizen. Give me that. Kind of thing. Who are you? Visiting Claire. Go. I'm Marlaban. Kind of thing. Off the top of his head, and he does know some Roseguard lore. After they had defeated Bellicora, and as far as they know, it was inside the ruin, not necessarily level 1 or level 10 or anything like that. They had lost a party member, their rogue, whom they named the town after. The town named themselves after the fallen hero Otari, who was the party rogue. And the rest of them, had enough, defeated Bellicora, and stayed for a while, and then, as heroes do, move on, retire, that type of thing. But the town got its name from one of the Roseguard, the one who fell in battle, defeating Bellicrosa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Gloomy, but interesting.
2 things he can tell you. 1, the body was never found. And 2, like the party didn't abandon him. They presumed dead. There was something about a cave-in. And it's like they don't think he could survive. Or if he did, well, wherever he ended up in the basement, and they're assuming it's 1 level down, not like several, he never got out, buried alive or something like that. Because the dude was slippery. He was our rogue. The guy could survive anything. And when he fell through the floor that day in the final battle, we never saw him again, so they just presumed him dead. We searched, we dug, that type of thing, and they were really bummed. And they told that story. They even went back with search parties, and nothing was found. The cave-in was kind of sealed and solid. There was no way to dig through it, and of course they didn't find the secret door. Remember, there was a secret door you guys found that went to the secret door that was obvious. That rogue dead guy was prying at just led you into a room that, lo and behold, had another secret door. Corey walks in. There's a dwarf. Oh, look at that stonework. If only they had more dwarves in this town. I'm just saying. They don't know anything about a secret door. So you might be discovering something that's just not commonly known.
Brand new. Okay,
anyway, but for your trouble, this is some light, rumor type of thing. Now, he's happy to talk about, like somebody else, this might cost you money, but with your deposit, thank you. He'll tell you a little bit about the Roseguard lore that you could learn from anyone else, but I want you to learn from me to prove that I'm, come back. Bring cool stuff. So the scene as Gregor walks away from the 3-story stone tower that rises from the back of the 1-floor wooden bookstore that the man owns, regarding the sign in front that depicts a stack of open books with lines of magical energy rising from the pages. You hope that the man is as advertised. Impressive building, impressive sign.
Well, he was able to talk, so I'll put confidence in him.
Okay. The man's business is called Odd Stories. And this is what I believe drew you here. We didn't get into that last time. We just kind of like, poof, you're at this door. Because you knew the man's name. I'm a go to Morlamins, right? It kind of caught me off guard. You're like, I didn't go to Odd Stories. Like, all right, Odd Stories, right? So, back in town, the dawn comes. Now, that evening, Gregor, you go find rest. Do you have an inn? Do you have an inn, a barracks you frequent? Something, public park?
The crow's cask.
Are you an amphibious half-orc? Our frog guy isn't, so, I was just wondering if somebody could live underwater. No? The crow's cask.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crow's cask.
Number 10 on our map, which we'll just zoom in on here. Center of town, a little bit to the west, but just beside the river. All right, and we'll get back to you there. Ken stayed at the temple / library, slept, rested, prayed, got up, did a little bit more research, and this is where he's at, bringing to the next day. Gregor, I'm assuming you also have rest and spells to retake.
Yes, I do.
Okay, which brings us to Dubsy, the Vagrant. Dubsy, our Ripley, who obviously wasn't welcome near the Crow's Nest, Crow's Club. I just watched Shadow and Bone, and the rogues were called the Crows, and it's completely messed me up. Really cool show though.
Crook's Nook.
The good guy and bad guy suck, but the side characters are awesome. Watch the whole show. The Crook's Nook got booted, was under the bridge, got shaken down, ran away, and spent the night under the stars, somewhere safe. You and the endless crickets lulling you to sleep. You wake the next day, and where most people would find dew-covered lawns, aching and right, for an amphibious fellow like yourself, you slept great. No guilt weighs on this little man's shoulders. I'll have to change that. A few more harrowing things in the dungeon. What's a day in the life of Dubsy when he's got nothing to do? Or do you have a plan? Is it time to round up those fools and go back? Or like, what's Dubsy's morning?
Well, the thing is Dubsy just plays it by, the skin of his teeth. I don't know if I have teeth. Anyway. Going around town and looking for, open windows that might have something lingering on the top, like a pie. Go into the forest, find some, herbs that I can partake in.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I might go back to the Crook's Nook and see if I can talk to the owner there instead. And see if she's heard anything.
Okay, so walking in the front door and going, hello, everyone, and ordering a drink, that type of thing. You never get to see the boss. You know those movies where, like, they just don't let the guy see the boss. It turns into a big fight, and then the boss stops it because they don't want to lose any more men, right? Mm-hmm. You did the, oh, well, shrug shoulders and left. And then they even, like, harassed you outside. So I'm curious, would you try the front door approach, a back door approach, or through a window and just, like, try to sneak around and find the leader and then just hi, personal interview?
Yeah, I might try to go in the back, see if I can
like sneak,
maybe lockpick the door or something and just go right into the owner's.
Just find a way in. Okay.
Avoid those rascallions that are harassing me.
Okay. Middle of the day, or this evening would be the plan?
Yeah, kind of later in the night, at least.
Okay. All right.
Dusk.
And that gives you the chance to wander around town, investigate a little bit more. Like, you were barely in town 5 minutes and checking out you'd like, hey, citizen, they pointed you at the notary board near the barracks. And then this gnome rolled up on you before you even could read papers. Too bad you can't read. And off to adventure and almost got killed. And now you're back. And, it's like you have a whole town to explore, wandering around. Maybe these guys will catch on to you. So I will have to get back to you. Which brings us to an orc that now looks like a prune, because he sat in that tub all night, all morning, stone cold, drunk out of his mind. You only live once. Tusk marks on the wall. Kraga was here. It's morning, Kraga. And I believe I may have already given you back the hit points, because you get your con times your level, and for you that's like 6 or 9, so you're like dun dun dun, right? Quite a bit of hit points came back your way last time we shook you down. Let's have a look at Kraga here. Kraga has 17 hit points and 23 wounds. You are still in rough shape, buddy. You wanted to go see your friend. What's his name?
Keelino.
Down at the market. Yeah. So this time, wearing nothing, but he stole the hotel house coat. He's marching. It got the bunny slippers, and he's hanging it. Just get downstairs. So in a bathrobe and slippers, the mighty orc, Kraga, marches downtown. Right. Runs into Keela. Okay. Dude raises an eyebrow in surprise at your current appearance, but doesn't laugh, keeps a straight face, and says, thought you were dead. Good to see you.
I can't even remember the last few weeks. I don't know where my mind was.
Few weeks?
It's
only been a couple days.
Oh, yeah, it felt like that.
You were gone 4 days, and day 2.5, 3, this little gnome started panicking, running around, talking to everyone in the anyone with a business. Had they seen you with this type of thing, and went tearing off something about a rescue mission? Here you are.
I owe my life to him.
Really now? Oh. All right. Well, don't tell him that. He'll come looking for a discount. The last customer you brought me looked me straight in the eye and looked like he was going to put his dwarven fist through my counter, and I don't want to deal with those types.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I hope he's all right.
First level, eh? I remember that. There's always one in the party. Right for the first merchant. I remember my first merchant. He spends 10 minutes on a tale that, you know, you just tune out.
Well, anyways, as you can see, I'm kind of out of gear right now, and I was hoping you could help me out.
Oh, sure. Got top shelf stuff, you know, blah, blah, blah type of thing. This. Anyway, he starts showing you all this awesome masterwork craft, you know, rune laden, all this stuff, you know, kind of thing or whatever. And, you know.
I just need a hammer with a heavy head and a piece of metal that can go over my chest.
Oh, okay. He's doing the math, like, you know how the monk was like no armor for a dwarf and like what are those guys, minimalist, you know, few belongings, if it does not bring me joy or if I can't put my fist through it, I don't want it in my life, those guys, right? So he's wondering if he's affected you.
And a few of those pointy sticks that I can throw.
Javelins. All right, so he lays it out on the counter for you, something maybe in your size, right? And then says all right, and gives you a round sum with your background from the player's guide, knowledge of discount, blah, 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 and asks for said price. It'll be this much.
I'll get that back to you once I
What?
get back from the dungeon.
What? Wait, whoa. No diplomacy? No intimidation? DM don't give out shit for free. Let's hear the RP, how you're talking to do, like, you know, renting. The DM's like, oh yeah, we'll do this, but I actually want this to go down, so. Before you roll, I think it's funny if you actually do the RP first and then see the react, because that's his the roll is really the end. Like, we got this all backwards. They go, roll 15 diplomacy, and then I always go like, oh yeah, we love you, kiss your boots. And we're always missing out a lot of player RP. I want to hear the RP up front, which might get you a bonus. And then you roll, and the roll really is the NPC's reaction, if you think about it, how well you did. So, let's hear how you ask, pretty please, real nice to your old buddy. Have a drink, punch him in the face. How would you go about this?
Listen, you've known me for a long time, and I've always had your back. I promise you won't have to worry. I will pay you back with interest, and you've seen me protect the town once. You could. I know I've been gone for a bit, but I promise.
Pay me back.
Better party.
Pay me back with interest, huh? Pause. Loading. Make the roll. Loading. Thinking about it. New jamming style. It's like called proper jamming. I'm trying it out for once. We got diplomacy, or with those all subtle veiled threats, and it's intimidation.
I mean, I'm untrained in diplomacy.
Yeah, I could see that 7. You know, like I know we're tight, man, but it's like there's two things wrong with the scenario. First of all, I do you a favor. And then everybody that's known me their lifetime, but isn't necessarily like lifetime customers.
Shut the fuck up and just give me this shit.
14. Okay, well, you don't have to be mean. Okay, I guess he takes a step back. I guess a rent to own situation,
I'll
but
pay
there'll be
your
interest.
ass back. Don't you fucking worry.
With interest. Okay. All right.
All right.
You have read intimidation though, right? Like it works now, but sometimes they get bitter later. You don't want to undo. I'm just saying, you keep doing this, you might undo your background.
I don't think orcs read about intimidation. They just keep intimidating.
No, I'm just saying, like for the player, this is fun. But if you kept doing that, right? Like you could literally lose the benefit of your background because in the short term, yeah, they're scared of you. And as soon as you leave, they think about it, and next thing you know, there's guards, and anyway. But right now, he's happy in the fact your friendship is hanging by the thread of the interest you promised, right? So real talk,
10%.
little man. Yeah, 10, okay. We'll go with that. Fine. 15. I mean 10. Yeah. Okay. So 3 javelins. A basic. He basically. What was your original gear? Like, you want something different? Just some real basic stuff? Like, what was your original armor?
Breastplate and a maul with
Okay, so you're kind of like doing the Kmart cheap over. Okay. So if there's any modifications to your original armor, these don't have them. This is cut rate Kmart stuff.
I just had the basic stuff already.
So all your flaming hammer stuff, that was all your barbarian abilities, right?
Yeah,
There's no
that just comes with my rage.
Okay. Well, you guys had picked up some items and stuff that got bagged, and then of course we
I did,
we
I did
swapped.
have a +1 Morning Star. That's gone.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But who knows? There could be.
I was gonna say keep it on your guy, just unequip it. Go right to like not even bag or t-shirt. Go right to unequip, and then if you guys run across one, you can be like, mine. It's on my guy. You know. Mine.
Here,
Kinda-
take it off. I can-
Okay. There's a name tag. Formerly Kraga's. Took this off the orc dude. All right. So you have.
And then yeah, after I talk to him and get my equipment, I guess I'll go seek out one of the other lads. I'll just walk around town until I find them.
Okay. Wander. Which
I
brings.
guess, or heal up some more. Obviously.
Yeah, well, did you want to go to the temple? You got any money? No, I guess you do not.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Okay.
I was a
Well,
prisoner for a week.
Jargon, the bard, they may have some minor healing abilities. He was like, you seemed tight with him. Because remember, and they also had a cleric in their midst. Because remember, we tried some on-the-spot healing and medicine before you guys even like went anywhere, and you just like, yep, thank you, couple band-aids, off I go. Now you're really feeling those aches and joints, and the adrenaline's run off next day. It's like, right, who was stitching my wounds? Who, right? So, who had medicine in the party? Who actually helped stitch this guy up? Who would he remember? And
Yeah, first one I run into, I'll ask him, like, if he can or if he knows where the other cleric is or whatever.
okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll me a d4, Kraga. I'm 1. Jargon, because I'm first and I'm the leader of the party. Crap,
That's
he
one.
found me. He found me. Diplomacy, gather information. They don't find me that easy. I'm just saying. If there's someone to be found, it would be Jargon, right?
The chances, yeah, it's just a chance of whoever.
Oh, I think it's a good. You know what they say, you know, the scene he said started at the beginning. Where did this adventure begin? Do you remember? Where were you hired? Where did this adventure all begin?
But the mayor?
Oh, that was just somebody we threatened to get extra money.
I can't remember.
Frickin' Corey. Nope. Anyway. Really? You don't remember all my wispy performances? Give me an intelligence check.
What?
An intelligence check. So D20 plus your intelligence modifier. I'm hoping it's negative because that'd be fun too. 3. I don't know. I just wandered in and was employed. There was a dungeon. Yeah. Details people told me about it. That's irrelevant. You know, you have been through torture and it's been quite a weekend. Apparently you thought it was 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm still a bit sore.
I did state that had been weeks in earlier episodes, but I for certain reasons I have to correct that. So we'll just say it was the longest 3-day weekend of your life. Felt like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But you were gone, you know, like we're like on day 5 of when they were missing kind of thing. Now, I bet the audience and the party are wondering a couple things. First, whatever happened to Nargrim? We left him in an alchemist shop. Why did he come looking? Well, we'll get to that next episode. What happened to the dwarf we just mentioned? What happened to that stunningly intelligent, combat-savvy little halfling investigator played by Dubsy's cousin, Rue? They were separated from you. You guys were all thrown into where you rescued the rogues, and they quickly decided that, well, if you could bust rogues out of there, maybe we should separate you. Okay. Now, maybe they branded and cut the beard off the dwarf. Maybe they poured gravy over the halfling, licking their lips. Who knows how it all went down? It's a bit of a blur. But they were taken from the area you were being held in. And after a couple days, you finally decided that you were going to starve to death. And when you were finally a little bit less guarded, and they seemed distracted by some kind of loud spell noise, you made your move, and it paid off. Not only did you get fed, you got out of there, and made friends and ran into Jargon. And here you are, bathed. He's wearing the bathrobe as the under armor garment, you know, kind of state.
Is that the start you're talking? I thought you meant like the start of like the other party.
No, like your start.
I'm dumb. No, I get it now.
That's fine. Okay. No, you're good. Just play through it, man. Play through it. No need to call attention. We love you, Spiegler. It's all good.
So I ran into I ran into Jargon.
You ran into Jargon Whitmore, and he's on the edge of the actual marketplace, number 12 of the colorful tents. Mm-hmm. He's not talking to someone you recognize. He's just talking to one of the vendors. And the vendor is holding an item, showing it to him, and he's got his hands on his hips and he's waggling his finger, and it looks like he's haggling, 3 silver? Are you kidding me?
Hey, Jargon, can you take a look at this right here? I don't know. It's not looking too good. I show him like a gash in my arm. That's kind of...
Okay, he turns to the merchant. Hold that thought. I'll be right back. Oh, hey, big guy. How you feeling? Hey, you look better. Oh, nice robe.
It's Jargon, right?
Yeah. Whitmore,
yeah,
right?
So.
Interview. Hey, hang on. I know what you'll remember. He goes and he digs through his book satchel, and he pulls out and he starts reading your story. And there I was, in the Bleakson Hills, with one cracked tusk, wondering if I should do something to make it better. Inspiring words. From you. That's quoting you. Well, I took a little bit of artistic license, but, remember me now?
I like where you went with that. It's pretty good.
Thank you.
But, are you...
Lots of cats around here.
Are you available for some restitution or restoration? On some wounds here.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't... I try not to cast in public, certain restraining orders and all that, but no problem. Actually, I'll do what I can for you. Shall we go find Kenro? I mean, he's actually a holy man and probably has more powerful juice than I do, and it's the next day. I think he was doing some research in the library. But I'll give you what I can on the way. You could catch me up on the harrowing tale, Krega, the incarceration. And he pulls out a blank page. Go.
Are you all bookworms? Like, is everybody at a library right now? What's going on?
What? No. Ken was researching that terrible thing we ran into. I'm an author. Like not all bards like sing and dance and play the flute and lute and kind of thing. Like I'm a novelist, right?
Now you could probably lift this hammer on my back. So.
Oh, I don't know. I'd say Gregard's got some orc blood in him. He'd give you a run for your money. As a matter of fact, there's I think the Crux Nook has a little bit of a sort of a Sunday night fight club kind of thing going on, we could anyway, the scene
is that other he looks like kind of like another orc, but I guess he's probably half. And
he leans in and he's like, yeah, half human, poor guy, says the gnome, nudging the full-blooded orc. Terrible fate, but he's a nice guy.
I don't think I've seen many of them in my life. I'm interested.
And a muted up Gregor Eric loses his shit over there. Really? Well, okay. Sheltered life, huh? Anyway, back to your incarceration. Don't leave out any bone-splitting, red door, shades of gray detail. Lay it on me. And the scene fades back as you're like wondering what the hell... Why you don't remember seeing any red doors?
I'll tell you on the walk.
yeah, as you're walking, right? Scene fades back, and we're crossing the main bridge, and Dubsy, it's midday, right? And you're skulking from checking out the lay of the land, watching the Crux Nook from like the far side of the river, the coming and going of the guard, looking for an entrance, a good window, a back door. Does something under a bridge have a back door? Didn't really think this through. And you can hear the distinct shrill voice of a gnome talking to someone overhead. And the man is describing shoddy workmanship in torture equipment. How in his homeland, the way orcs get information or just torture for fun is like an art. And how these Morlocks, he calls them, are just a bunch of cobbled together bad MacGyver pain seekers. It's just disgusting what they tried to do to him. Anyway, and this conversation goes overhead and starts getting quieter. I don't know if you want to stay the course for the night or, reveal yourself.
Oh no, I'll let Jargon go.
Okay. Surface people are weird. Stay hidden in the river. All right. Where's Odd Stories? I'm just wondering if we might actually bump into Gregor. Stories, odd stories. I don't see it on the map. Oh, there we go. Number 7. No, it's a bit north of our position. Oh no, well, you went off to. Sorry, what was it? Where did you go? What was the inn called?
The Crow's Cast, number 10.
Oh, Gregor, that's... I thought you were talking about...
Rogue's Cast is 10. Okay. All right. I don't want to, like, my next question's kind of loaded. What would you do in the morning? Oh, I wander back. But if you go back to Buddy, you're going north. If you go to the library to check on Ken, you could possibly run into us. You have no idea where Dubsy is. Give me a percentage. We'll get, like, it's kind of a load just to say, oh, and you conveniently run into him. Suddenly a tavern appears around us. I hate that crap. So give me a percentage roll there, Greg. I mean, Eric. I mean, Gregor. The cursed half-human. Ever gonna move this down? You're looking for probably. I'll give you a 35% chance that you might bump into them, like a random encounter. What'd you get?
I rolled a 32.
Okay, that's barely it. But I will say that you spot Jargon, his diminutive figure and his flowing brown hair. He's, like I said, kind of a not very gnomish gnome. Like most gnomes have wild color hair and big eyebrows, and up close, you know, he's not a halfling. But he does style himself in human-type clothing and human-type hairstyle. You know, he looks larger than life with the huge hair on his little face or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not this wild, crazy little gnome. He's kind of muted in color and in, you know, until he opens his mouth and starts gesturing and talking about stories. Then he's as animated as any gnome you've ever met, though you haven't met many. And it's his stark difference of stature next to a towering bathrobe and armor. I mean, a towering orc and, well, you get the idea. Are on the bridge. Now, you're a solid block away, but in the middle of the street, near 10, you have a straight line from one bridge to another, and then you can actually see, you know, right? Little hands going up over the rail. And that's Jargon. And then there's this orc, you know, making thumb screw and shaking his head noises and making Claude, you know, from his gestures, it's like, oh, he's talking about the great orc torture art. He used to making like Iron Maiden closing jaw motions with his hands and arms, you know. Oh yeah, I'd spot that shit a mile away.
So, without being too threatening, I'll beeline it towards them.
Okay.
Not to scare the village people.
No. Yeah, you're just doing the hustle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jargon.
Call up to him. Okay. We spin around, and hand on the sword sheath to keep it from jouncing out. You know, big weapon on his back or whatever. Heavily armored guy. How tall is Kraga? How tall is Gregor? Come on, you know we're going to have this conversation. Who's taller, who's wider? What's your height, weight kind of thing? Strength. That's curious here. Let's start with the home team. Kraga. What's your height, weight, and strength?
I am 7'8", 540 pounds.
Is that even possible for a... Did you actually look up orc, or did you just make some shit up?
I did. I looked up orcs.
And they can be that tall?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
You're almost 8 feet tall.
Almost.
God, no wonder the dude said, sure, you can have that armor on loan. Damn, dude. That's like ducking every doorway. It's not a bathrobe. It doesn't cover shit.
They're a big species.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's bigger than I am. I'm under 7 foot.
Okay. And who's stronger? Who's got the more ripply? Who's a little bit more ripped? Not that you can tell with all the armor on, but just curious. I know you're mage class, so you're smart as you are, fast or strong, but I'm just curious.
18.
Okay. Kraga, what's your strength?
Oh, 18.
Okay. So come running up, you know, bigger than a human, or as big as any large Norseman. Not Norseman. The Wilhelm. Yeah. Who are the Viking dudes in the north? I can't think of it. The Wilhelm.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Up north.
The Ulfin.
Thank you. The guys, this half orc is the size of any large human, and the largest humans you've heard of are the Ulfin. At a staggering, almost 7 feet tall. But his pale green skin is several shades lighter than your own. His nose is not as upturned. His ears aren't as big. And he's got the cutest little tusks. Look at that little tusk sticking out of that little...
Gregor, it's Gregor, right? I hold up my hand.
Okay.
Like in the arm wrestling handshake.
Oh, okay, forearm to forearm. Okay, strength checks. We're all really nice, but it's going to kind of turn into some kind of squeezing the guy's head arm wrestle, right? Yeah. Strength checks, let's have them. Come on. Let's finish the orc reading.
Oh, I got a 3.
You got it for a 6? Okay. And
for a 6.
Gregor? Gregor's just doing damage. No.
What the hell? I still have a minus on from enfeebled, I think.
Yeah, that's hard. You need a cleric. That's what you're on the way to. You're just not yourself. 6
Not
and a
much
9.
better. Roll the 5.
Okay. That's funny. You guys are like just so really nice about it.
Remember,
Hey, it's early morning. We haven't stretched yet. We're tired.
It's like
Goes
the
to the
scene
high
from
five with
Predator when
everything.
Arnold
It's like-
Schwarzenegger and the other guy.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? How are you? You ever hear that story with Fluffy? The really fun, round Mexican comedian. He talks about how he met Schwarzenegger. No?
No.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's relevant to the situation. As much as I promised to play a more serious game, just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so the man's a comedian. He travels the world, had a chance to meet Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger did this thing where they were like people lined up to meet him. So he was literally glad-handing a line where, you'd meet Schwarzenegger, you talk to him for like 30 seconds, you get a couple questions in, and then he would politely have to move on. Anyway, actors are kind people. They will usually engage someone as long as necessary. So they have a handler. And the handler is also the excuse. Like they go, sorry, Mr. Schwarzenegger, we got to go, so that the actor doesn't look like he's being a dick or doesn't want to talk to a fan or an important contact, because everyone respects that the man's busy, right? So it's a key, right? Fluffy, the comedian Fluffy, recognized the handler and knows him from his work. So there's Schwarzenegger going, hi, sorry, I can't do the Schwarzenegger. 1 second. Get on the chopper. I can't do it. Oh, damn it. Get on the chopper.
Hi,
how are you? Oh, how are you? That type of thing, right? Talking to people, right? Fluffy sees the guy and waves him, and then pick me, and does the let's get on with this, right? So the handler gives him the thumbs up and just starts yanking, doing the double squeeze on the guy's back elbow, right? So he's like, you should have seen Schwarzenegger going down this line. Hi, how are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? Because he kept taking cues from the handler. And it's like, my buddy burned Schwarzenegger through that line until he got to me. And then I got to, I grabbed him with both hands and said, great to meet you. What a big fan or whatever. Just got him through that line. And then I got on the bus so I wouldn't be late, kind of thing. Such a good... So there's these 2 men, and you brought up Schwarzenegger, and they're doing the, hey, I just couldn't help myself. So, you guys are being nice about it, right, kind of thing. I would have to say, I don't know which one of you better. One man I fought and bled with, Gregor. The other man I took a personal interview with as a celebrity hero. So Jargon just steps back and lets you guys do your thing. He doesn't break this up at all. And what, at my eye level, what looks like a mighty flex, 6 and 9, is you guys being exceedingly nice to one another out of respect. One's enfeebled, the other one just saved his life, so, there is no rivalry just yet. Very disappointing in those strength checks, gentlemen. I just want to say, DM to players. Shame on you.
Very much
Shame
so,
on
yes.
you both. I had to re-entertain the audience with my side story because those rolls were... Anyway, that's fine. More chances.
Pleasure meeting you. Much better circumstances now, and I'll let go. Anyone else down there with you? Anyone else we need to hurry down and get?
I have no idea where anyone else would be held. It's up to us to find them.
We're just on our way to the temple. We're going to look up Ken. I mean, you can't tell this fine specimen, but the man is still, for a mortally wounded. But look at him standing upright. The bathrobe swaying mightily in the wind. From my angle, It's impressive and a little bit disturbing. But anyway.
Yeah, hopefully can made out a little bit better. I got a bit of lore, but nothing substantial. I know that one of the Rose Guards died down there, but that's pretty much all I know. I did hook up a deal, though. We have a sage trying to dig up more information. The thing is I promised him some of the treasure, so...
Jargon gives you an immediate death glare.
Just the artwork and books.
A sage? You went to a sage?
I got a contact in Absalon, so I came and I went and got him.
Oh.
That was my only lead.
Oh, that's fine. He runs off. Perception. Takes a... He's with you guys still, but he seems a little bit wistful, and he increases his stride to stay ahead so you don't see the man weep.
Whoa, what's up with him?
Perception? You might have offended him. I'm a bard that does the book thing. I just stated I don't do the loot thing. You didn't ask him. You guys like, let's run off and do research. He's like, great idea. And you guys all bail. Okay, I guess they'll ask me tomorrow. Anyway, going to a library makes sense. And he proudly said, Ken's at the library. Let's join him. But you went after a single guy. I thought I was your guy. Okay, I see how it is. Yeah, goes off. But leaving you two behind to get acquainted.
Win some, lose some. I'm sure he'll come around.
So, getting to the library, he's gone inside and we kind of lose track of him. You guys go inside and ask the acolytes for complimentary happy ending massage, library access, morning sunset, you know. Somehow they holographically record every sunset and every sunrise. It's really great. They replay it all day. We're not clergy, so you don't just walk in here like Ken. It's like you're kind of stopped. Inside is like, oh, yeah, it's a, you know, they tell you services are at sunrise and sunset. You're a little bit late for the sunrise one. We kind of do like a little thing at high noon, but, you know, anyway. Blessed Sarenrae, blah, blah, blah. How can we help you, gentlemen? You know, have you heard the good word, brother? You know, you're not wearing holy symbols. You don't look like you know your way around. So, you know, you guys get immediately accosted and pamphleted like you're at an airport. Hare Krishna.
A pair of orcs walking in.
Oh, no, do we have? Oh, yeah, Brother Green. They pull out a very handsome half-orc comes by. Over here, Brother Green. Over walks Brother Green. Taller than Greg, shorter than Craig. Definitely half-orc. Stunningly handsome. Craiga, they kind of screwed up with Greg, but this half-orc, his parents got it right. The guy is manly. Handsome in all the right, wrong orcish ways, and yet smooth in all the right human ways. Dude doesn't glide up to you like these feeble little clerics. The man approaches us with rolling shoulders in a barrel style. Confident, but not threatening. Charismatic, but not annoying. Extends a hand and two tusks, and with a distinct accent that just for somehow you know his name is Sean, says, "Greetings, brothers. Have you heard the good word of Sarenrae?" He was trying to hold it together. I'm Brother Sean. Affectionately, they call me, and he leans in, brother, and he uses the orc word for green, which is twice as funny, because green guts, red guts, black guts. So he takes it as sort of like a veiled compliment. He chooses to take it as a compliment, because if I were offended, well... And he looks around and his eyes change from happy pale yellow to bloodshot red, like he would murder the whole place, and then snaps out of it. But as I was saying... How can I be of service, brothers?
I'm sorry, actually, unless you're able to give me some healing for free, I gotta get out of here.
Healing for free? I like your style. I'll tell you what, he says, if you stay with me the afternoon and attend the evening service, I will attend to you both personally. Does that sound fair?
Who did you say your goddess was again? Sesame?
Saren Ray, he says, not offended, happy, and the place shakes, and everyone goes, ah! And then start applauding.
Okay. Maybe this will be a pretty good
Goddess
show.
of healing and the sun.
I'll be there.
All right. Oh no! You're mine now, bitch. Anyway, so you're on his shoulder for like hours, and the healing comes at the end. We're not idiots, right? So basically, you get walked around, shown around. They show you the minimalist life. They show you how great Saren Ray is. Anyway, but they show you life at the temple and how worship, knowledge, and like it's not just all blah blah blah. Be good. The dude's a half orc, so he spins it in a way that would interest an orc. You know what I mean? There's a military wing of Saren Ray that hunts undead viciously. There's a military wing of Saren Ray that defends people of all faiths, of all ancestries of our faith with militant vigor and organization that would make our homeland tremble. Like, the dude knows how to push your buttons. And by the end of it, it's sunset. We finally dig up Greg. So there goes our chance to research. Sorry, guys, right? It's sunset, and you guys are front row. You know, and there's Sean, arms around each one of you guys, and you guys are like, you know, and they do the sermon, and you guys are like practically openly weeping, you know, type of thing. And the sun sets, and so much more of life and religion makes sense. And then they bring you Kool-Aid. Drink, brothers.
Add to the graveyard.
Unless you're
Our undead army grows.
No. The guy is strong-willed, and rather charismatically charming, as a cleric should be. And he does know to approach this at an angle that would interest an orc.
Is Kenoro here, or is he at
Kenro is actually not in the temple, he's in the library, which we haven't got to yet because you guys got way late, and you did say you want some healing. Anyway, so that was the deal. You want free healing, you got the day tour, you're stuck on his shoulder all day. It's sunset now, but they do actually not only medicine, but entirely heal your wounds. Gregor, can I have a perception?
Awesome.
Roll a 9 for a 13.
It's not hard to realize that they're pandering to a town hero. This is not a race thing because he's a half-orc and you're a half-orc and they're treating the orc extra special because he's a pureblood, though Craig doesn't seem to catch on. He is a known town hero. So, free healing and for friend. Right? But they're not idiots. They're definitely going to try to convert him.
Yeah. Okay.
But our mighty Craiga now stands at 40 hit points. And yourself, where are you here? Did you get all healed up, or are you still wounded? Where are you? Craigar had 4 left. Yeah. Gregor. Sorry, Craigar. That's your love child if the two got together. Actually, no, if one of you dies, right? I'm here to avenge my father. One of you had a sort of affair with Sean here and adopted. Anyway, imagine that. A same-sex couple having a torn affair, then they adopt almost to like legitimize it so they could have a problem. Oh no, who will look after our child? From that one night we, you know, made out in the adoption clerk lounge. Anyway, Henro. Dubsy's waiting for nightfall. I just got these guys to nightfall. You studied in the morning. You still have 2 rolls, 8 hours. You have a full day this afternoon if you'd like to continue your research or wander the abandoned town, missing these guys because one's hiding and the other 2 are here.
I think you'd probably stay in the temple.
Okay.
Might not be in the library. Maybe go to a room or something and have a little bit of prayer.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Sure. I'd like to know how that goes. Now, the goddess of lust, revenge, and the other one? Is it pleasure? Is it taxes? Is it
Hedonism.
hedonism? Oh, okay.
That kind of stuff.
Okay. Indulgence.
Yes.
Okay. So when you researched, you overdid it in the library, and that's why you were 12 hours. And now you're back in your rooms going, did I do good? Did I overdo those books? God of hedonism. Yeah.
One of the things with revenge, right? So I would kind of be more of just holding the holy symbol, kind of laying down, relaxed, not really too
Okay.
very chill, not more chill than in cautious prayer.
Okay.
I think again, one of the things about this is to give into indulgence, right? So why should we be chaste and rigid for our God when we can be relaxed and comfortable?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
There's like 12 other acolyte chambers that are missing their one little stiff pillow. You've got them all. You just laid them out. Screw those guys. Right.
I'd basically be sitting there and I'd be just kind of going over in my head the plan to get revenge on this undead servant.
Oh, okay.
Thought about just how
No.
not forgotten, and I still bear the mark on my back from when she slashed at me, and how revenge will be served one day.
Now, I don't know as an answer, so I'll let you wave me off. This shadow has slighted you and is now your focus.
Yep.
But going back in time with Kenro, I'm curious, do you have information, backstory otherwise, that may have turned you towards the goddess in the first place? Is your angle to do with you became interested in religion, but you wanted a laid back religion? Or was it actual revenge and need to acquire said revenge that turned you to the goddess?
I think there would be somewhere in my backstory where there was some sort of almost a slavery where I was whipped and there was some pain, and with that pain came, a pleasure in the end.
Okay.
And it's that when I finally got
I fucking love Kenor.
that slavery, the will for revenge was also there against the people who had me.
Okay.
And then that calling to what I was feeling, the voice of Callistra started speaking.
I'm really glad that Sarah and Ray got to Kraga first before you did, because it looked like you'd convert that poor bugger in like 2 minutes. And let me show you my whip collection. Oh, damn. So we get to use these on people not in battle. Is that what you're saying? Oh, wow. Oh, I never thought of that. It just, yeah. 50 Shades of Ken. Okay.
It's going in towards that whole hedonistic, where you're under an oppressive lifestyle at first. You kind of.
Oh, no. I get it. Yeah.
That's kind of where some of that would have come from, I would think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's touching it. It's touching it. Like everyone's, I make jokes of 50 Shades of Grey, but it's become a cultural icon that's now gone years back, and is just, people are a lot more comfortable with said topic of S&M than they were before. Now, I'm not saying you have your own chaps, like a certain skeleton bard has got the assless chaps or anything like that, Not saying you're all Da Vinci Code and you gotta hit the back of yourself while praying or anything. None of that, no. On the comfiest way that you can make up your little free room, laid back, praying to the goddess, and your focus is now getting the just desserts that creature that took your friend, your comrade at least, before you had a chance to explore all those muscles on your own, and his pain threshold, etc., was taken from you prematurely. And Callistra doesn't stand for anything that comes premature, if you know what I'm saying. So now he's on a bent to get revenge on this undead. You did learn quite a bit, for your knowledge. And
I did prepare light during my daily preparations as well.
Okay. Up half the night, not praying a lot, skipping over it, getting into the day, much more research, and now, because there's no reason why you can't pray at midnight or middle day or whenever you feel like it, laid back cleric, now is the time you take your full rest. You take your 48 hours. You do your spells now. And not just because it conveniently catches you up in time. I see where you're kind of going with this. It's like, no, don't tell me when to pray first thing in the morning, damn you. I'll do what I want. No, I get it. That's cool. Now that I have everyone caught up till about sunset, let's say. Okay. You guys are fully healed, and the sermon is over. Okay? And I don't even want to know if you drank the Kool-Aid. It was just offered to you. Just saying. Eric's shaking his head no.
Thank you, no.
Okay. Maybe next time. Yeah. Anyway, he takes yours, Eric, and he knocks it back like whiskey.
Okay.
Okay? And you don't know if this is a trial, like it actually is poisonous and he's counting on his fortitude, or it's like burning whiskey because the god of the burning sun or any type of thing, and maybe you missed out on good hooch, or maybe it's just boring, sugary, food-coloring drink. I called it Kool-Aid because it was a thing of trust. Drink of the body of the, that kind of thing, right? Kind of thing. Anyway, he refuses.
Yeah.
Craiga.
Oh, yep.
Do you drink the Sacramento wine / Kool-Aid / but it's not even lost on you. To drink this is sort of to give them a nod to come back and knock on my door and ask for donations every year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of an acceptance of your day.
When I got Brother Green offering it to me in such a beautiful way, I have I can't defend it.
This guy's so moldable, man. I'm so glad I found you first. We gotta keep you away from Ken as long as possible. Okay, you knock it back.
If I find out the way he prays, then I might be
a sweet, strong single malt liquor. Now, normally sweet drinks don't go with you, but this is sweet at first, and then it burns. It's got a heavy malt. Yeah, it's interesting. This drink's got layer. You kind of discover it 3 times. It hits your throat. Your tongue says it's sweet. You start to swallow, and
flames come out.
Yeah, totally. He laughs. Oh, he gets it. Sorry, Halfy, turns to Gregor. Like, wait a minute. But you're half orc too. Seems to turn a darker shade of green. Oh, he gets it, right? Anyway, deal's a deal. And this half orc is a man of his word. With a slap on Craig's shoulder, he nods and departs and leaves you guys to your own vices. You guys can see yourselves out, or the library is open a little past sunset, but not too much. Like the library will close, like in an hour if you guys wanted to go or, happy healing, get the fuck out. Anyway, he does tell you that if you wish to catch the morning sermon, which is part 2 of what all the topics they talked on, battle against the undead, early to bed, early to rise, makes a guy more muscular and wise, things like that.
Do you want part like a beginner's guide for Sarenrae worship?
Yeah. They have
I'll take that with me.
Would you like to stay with us?
Oh, you have accommodations?
Yes,
absolutely.
For a man of your stature, there it is, a Greg. They don't call him a hero. They don't call him a celebrity to his face.
I may need 2 beds to push them together. For my width.
You are both welcome, Craiga and Craiga's sidekick. Eric's face. Now there's some fuck you Jeff eyes right there if I've ever seen.
Don't worry, Gregor. I know you're not.
Okay. Thank you. No.
You can have both beds, buddy. I'm out. All right. So, Gregor, you decline and get out of there?
Yes, but I'm going to walk through the library and just try to take note of what's where, so if I come back, I can kind of streamline where I want to go.
Sure. Talk to librarians. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. You don't find Kenoro, but you do get the lay of the land, as it were, and you get a quick tour. Like you don't have time to research, but no, I totally get it. You glad hand them like I'm recon. Oh yeah, sure, okay. So that's you, Craiga. Would you like to stay with us here? We can give you an acolyte's room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Far in another wing away from where we keep the other faith's acolytes that are visiting, just in case. We don't want to corrupt to the new guy, right?
I get my own bath.
You get your own. It's a communal bath, actually. You get your own room. You get your own porridge. You get your own sunrise. Type of thing. I hope you're a warrior that gets up like in the morning, because dude, they get you up pre-dawn. Before the sun rises, so they don't miss a second of it.
Yeah, I don't sleep in.
And it's exercise and meal, or even before the meal, they, grumpy on an empty stomach is the best way to see the sunset. Trust me. Okay, shit, 4 a.m. boot.
Anything
up you
that
get.
Makes me stronger.
Sure. I feel that we might be able to talk Krega into possibly a clerical archetype in the future, like a certain monk, no cleric that we, this is the way to go about it, man, organically. Anyway, it's only sunset. They do tell you that morning comes early, but they give you, okay, Sean gives you his own copy, his own personal copy. This was my first Bible. I would like you to have it, brother. A gift from a fellow greenskin. He says, and then he smiles and he says, skip to Revelations where weird shit starts happening. I think that would make you want to go back and read the whole thing from the beginning, the dry human part, but trust me, go to chapter 7, right? So sure enough, chapter 7 is an account of Chosen of Sarenrae, battles in her name, like, some cool shit. And next thing you know, there's a knock at your door. And you've read all of chapter 7. Can you read?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 12 intelligence.
No, I'm just curious. Like, you read common type, okay?
Yeah, I was taught something.
It's not common language the way you'd speak to a person or a human. It's common language that is metaphorical and descriptive. So let's say you read it slowly. Yeah. Chapter 7, which leads to chapter 8, the aftermath.
I might ask Brother Green for some help with some passages.
Chapter 9. Well, you could mark passages and bug him like the next day, right? Actually, he says, if you have any questions, bring them up at the end of the sermon.
Right.
Read what you can. We can help you, because that's our job, is to just decipher, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, when you're a couple hours in and completely enthralled, they offer to come and clean your armor and your clothes, do some laundry for you for free. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So they take your clothes. You're naked once more in the middle of the night reading this book. They leave you some bread and cheese. A little bit of wine.
Staring at the crescent moon. Like,
hey, the moon is a reflection of the sun, whether new, crescent, or full. It is Sarenrae's light that bounces off that orb of the night to remind you that she is returning in 12 hours or less. Have a good night, brother. For some reason, as threadbare and stone bare as the room is, it's homey, it's comfortable, it's small, it's minimalist, it's, there might be something to this. The way the dwarf made out his lifestyle of meditation stuff seemed kind of boorish, but this acceptance, this community, this seeing the church through another orc's, or at least half human. I mean, let's be real. Sean will never be a real orc, no matter, that's why he ran to faith,
Especially coming from being in that tight cell underground surrounded by little gremlins.
Yeah, maybe you almost miss it. You were there. Those 3 days were really an eternity to you. He's already got like Stockholm syndrome and everything, right? He misses Morlock Nick called Mom. Anyway, and as the day is almost breaking, there's a knock on your door and you're still up, enthralled in this holy book of battle, truth, healing, burning, and more battle. And it's like, this goddess kicks ass. Yes, there's compassion and there's healing, but that always comes after the battle. So it's like, I work for a goddess of war and there's healing benefits in my pay stub. Like, this is awesome. It's like, there is no downside here. That Kool-Aid is doing its shit because he is rosy-eyed and this shit looks awesome to you. Everything's great. Can I have a willpower? Can I have a willpower?
Declare your name.
Yeah. I want a fortitude save and a willpower save. If you please. We are not above drugging our acolytes. That's right. Fortitude 11, will of 18. This is awesome. Open your mind. They give you some hallucinogenic drugs in the wine to have you open your mind. And you swear, you could picture the battles. You were there on the field of blood. You felt the burning presence of the goddess through her clerics. What a night. What a rip. And you were not tired in the slightest when they knock on the door and tell you it's time for the sermon and you've had no sleep. And somewhat sleep deprived and still kind of starved. They roll a wide out, totally freaking wired Krega. and they take you out to the main chapel, and there's that domed roof that they roll back, and it catches the sun, and it is not but one of the coolest things that you have ever seen in your life. And maybe or maybe not, we will see Kraga next time.
Sacrifice to Saren, right? Got me all honeyed up with some single malt.
This magic weapon refused to turn the tide. It breathes by all of its saints. Who cares if we're a disgrace? In just one shove, our wizard rolled death and fell. Tell me what we'd brawl this thing. Too many limbs that sting. All of us played food for its spawn. Up our XP and then...
Well, you know, speaking of S&M, been married now for over 20 years, so the wife and I decided to spice things up a little bit and thought we'd try it out. So she sleeps and I masturbate.
Give up, provoke me, haste me faster, dash. Returning, churning, savage attack. The character so cozy, buckets of dice. You know me, I'm gonna write all these actions down. Blowing bubbles below, see camping next to coyotes. I don't wanna die, let's head back to town. Let's head back to